National Nutrition Interviews, the natural health experts, up close and personal. Meet nutrition rock star Sam Graci, the author of the best-selling Power of Superfoods and formulator of Genuine Health Greens Plus. Also known as the Guru of Greens, Sam is a passionate health educator, public lecturer, and frequent TV guest. He's motivated thousands to live healthier and happier lives through his outstanding commitment to natural health. He's also a National Nutrition Seminar speaker.
Hi, my name's Sam Graci. I'm a Canadian nutritional and lifestyle researcher. I am the formulator and developer of the award-winning food powder Greens Plus. My early life, it was very interesting. I graduated from university and I was hired by the Niagara South Board of Education in Niagara Falls as a guidance counselor. I was the very first person, head of guidance. I was the very first person directly out of university to take over a major guidance department. I eventually coordinated services with 3 different school boards, public and Catholic school boards. What I really specialized is working with teens at high risk, 14 and 15-year-olds who were severely addicted to drugs or alcohol. And I discovered that their negative attitude, their criminal activity, their abuse of drugs and alcohol came from the fact that they had absolutely zero nutrition in their body. For breakfast, they might have a bottle of pop. For lunch, they might have French fries and gravy. And for supper, they might have a macaroni and cheese out of a box, maximum. No fruits, no vegetables, no colors, no salads, no herbs, no spices. What I like about being a nutritional researcher is that we're advancing the concept of wellness. So every day our research is unfolding who we are, where we're coming from, and where we can go to. For instance, it's no longer a secret that we can keep our brain intact pretty well till the day we take our last breath. That's great news. We don't have to fall victim to mental dementia, to Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. We actually can be in a defensive position if we know the rules of the road, and we can really take care of our brain with nutrients, with exercise. It can stay functional far longer than we ever thought. Also, our immune system to ward off diseases, even simple things like colds and flus. We can really eliminate the vast majority of them. Energy, we can increase it without needing all the extra caffeine from coffee. Enjoy your coffee you'd like, black or an espresso, because it's alkalizing. We can talk about that a little later. So we can increase our energy, we increase our sleep. Sleep's a big question today, whether we're sleeping naturally or not. It's an indicator if our hormones are balanced or so. And our sense of feeling well all day long, the sense beyond energy, but the sense of really feeling well. That is what I'm able to be involved in research, what we can pass on to people that you can incorporate in your life right today, right now. Well, the main thing in people's diets is the lack of understanding that, first of all, at each meal, whether you are a male or female, it's important to look at your protein content. Protein makes a hormone called glucagon, and glucagon balances insulin. Insulin comes from eating carbohydrates, grains, sugars, vegetables, and fruit. So when glucagon and insulin are balanced, we're hormonally balanced. We're firing on all 8 cylinders. We have dynamic energy, we have motivation, creativity, enthusiasm. We're at the top of our game. So women must have 20 grams of protein at 3 meals a day, and men a minimum of 30 grams of protein at 3 meals a day. And we have to eat our protein first. As soon as we eat our protein, and it sends a message to produce glucagon, glucagon basically says we're full, we don't need to overeat. Then we add our salads and we add our vegetables. Most people don't eat a wide range of colors. We have to not just eat those 3 or 4 vegetables that we think are our favorites. We have to go out of our way to try different kind of ethnic vegetables, and especially seasonal vegetables, locally grown and by color. So the deficiency most of us face, lack of color. Our plate should be a rainbow of colors at every meal. We should use a food grater and take beets and carrots and yams and just grate them over the top of our entree just to give some color, and then take some herbs. It might be mint, it might be parsley, it might be oregano, and just put some sprigs around our plate to add some liveliness and some color. So we are missing the liveliness and the color, almost everybody. When I was working with teens at high risk, these teens, and many teens matter of fact, will not eat fruit in front of their peers. They won't eat vegetables or salads. They just don't consider it to be really cool, let's say. So we studied and we looked at the composition of the diet of teens who had learning disabilities, teens who had a chip in their shoulder, teens who had lost their self-esteem, teens who were depressed, teens who were involved in criminal activity or abuse using alcohol or drugs or some other substance like that. And what we discovered was that they had a lot of nutrients that were missing in the brain that would allow for transmission of impulses in real time over secure lines. So a lot of messages were garbled, which meant they were antisocial, they didn't know how to communicate properly, they didn't understand the language, the rules or the regulations, so they appeared to violate them. But the truth is, they're nutrient deficient. So when working with these teens, I began to work with different psychiatrists from different universities across Canada, looking at what is the exact composition that would work best for the brain. So Dr. Hoffer, who was at the University of Saskatchewan at the time when I first began, was really concerned with the number of drugs he was given to people who were just simply depressed. And he was wondering if there was a nutrient deficiency. At the same time, I was discovering that. He was discovering a nutrient deficiency in most of what we had called depressions or loss of self-esteem or moodiness or bluesiness or whatever extension of that we might feel. So it wouldn't be so much that it was a psychiatric order that required medication. It was really trying to get food into the system and get the nutrients into the brain or into the nervous system so that they could really operate at optimum. So I was looking at how could we possibly get salads and fruits and vegetables into these teens at high risk, or matter of fact, into many adults who themselves don't eat fruits and vegetables or salad each day. So I developed Greens Plus, working with many other researchers. Dr. Linus Pauling contributed to that, Dr. Hoffer contributed to that, and we looked at growing 23 organic products around the world, drying them and putting them together to get a huge nutrient profile, getting all the phytonutrients, antioxidants, alkalinity, the equivalent of 1 tablespoon of Greens Plus, which costs between $1 and $1.50, you get the equivalent of 6 large organic salads or 6 large servings of vegetables. When you think of the time it takes to purchase them, to clean them, to prepare them, and to eat them, and for $1, especially in the winter, that you can get that same amount of nutrients for 1 tablespoon of Greens Plus, that was the incentive to start this. So I would put it in smoothies so these teens wouldn't even know they're getting the equivalent of all their fruits and vegetables in 1 tablespoon of Greens Plus. Why are greens so important? Well, you'd have to look at the research on Greens Plus to understand why they're so important. First of all, let's look what nature does, the environment that we live in. The sun is 93 million miles away from Earth, the right distance to heat up the Earth so microbes will grow, so plants can grow, so we can have food. Once those plants start to grow and the sunshine hits a plant, the plant produces green chlorophyll. That's why the original stage of everything is green. When a plant produces chlorophyll, matter of fact, when we eat chlorophyll, it's antiseptic, it's antiviral, it's antifungal, it's antibacterial. So we want to eat green as much as possible in our diet for that reason, first of all. Second of all, when a plant produces chlorophyll, which you see in the leaves, when you look through a forest or you look at your lawn, that green magic happens. When the sun hits it, photosynthesis begins. Photosynthesis means that that plant takes in our carbon dioxide. Right now, what are we doing? We're breathing. When we inhale, we're taking in oxygen. When we exhale, we're giving off very dangerous carbon dioxide, which would kill all of us, except nature jumps in. When photosynthesis happens and the green in the plant hits that sun and that chlorophyll is made in photosynthesis, it takes in our carbon dioxide as its main source of carbon, as its food source. We would not have a strawberry, a blueberry, a lettuce, a lemon, an apple, a pear, parsley without carbon from our exhaling. We're the base to all of that, but what does the plant do in return? In that process of taking our carbon to build the vegetables, the herbs, the salads, the fruit, the berries, it gives off a waste product called oxygen. And that's what keeps us alive. We need oxygen. We can't live without oxygen. It's the #1 nutrient that we need. We take 17,000 breaths a day. We need to start to be more conscious of them. Breathe in deeply and exhale deeply. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. So green is critically important, and greens are critically important because it's the base of life. I've been asked, is there proof that Greens Plus doesn't make a difference in people's health? There's several studies that are really important. I'd like to start with Dr. Heather Boone from the School of Pharmacy, University of Toronto. Dr. Heather Boone was wondering whether I and my research was authentic and whether Greens Plus was authentic. We are saying that Greens Plus increases energy, that when you take Greens Plus, it makes the body alkaline so that you not only produce more energy, but your immune system is more capable of warding off colds and flus. We also said that when you take your Greens Plus, that you feel better. There's a strong correlation between taking Greens Plus and feeling mentally and emotionally balanced. So there's some kind of hormonal connection. So Dr. Heather Boone took Greens Plus. She did it in a double-blind placebo crossover study, the gold standard of any type of research, such as pharmaceutical research on any drugs that we know of. It's the highest standard, seldom used with nutrients. She took that standard and applied it to Greens Plus. She took 100 women in the Toronto area. Half of them were getting Greens Plus, half were getting a placebo made from rice powder, that with green natural food dye that was made to look like and smell like Greens Plus. The people that were both given it to the 100 women, and the 100 women that were taking the product had no idea if they're getting Greens Plus or not. They monitored them over a period of 6 months. The conclusion, which was printed, the study is also available from genuinehealth.com, is that in all cases, energy, vitality, and wellness increased dramatically. The incidence of colds and flus diminished, and there was a strong movement towards emotional, psychological, and mental well-being. Well, we were able to put that on our bottle. In a sense, it was the first real clinical proof that Greens Plus really worked. Now the schools of pharmacy teach pharmacists that are coming through that one of the few nutritional products that really have proven true is Greens Plus. So pharmacists are very strong on promoting Greens Plus. But I'd like to go on a little more. Dr. Venkat Rao, PhD, University of Toronto Faculty of Medicine, Professor Emeritus, 30 years at the University of Toronto Faculty of Medicine, wanted to see if Greens Plus not only would be absorbed, but would it actually get into the cells of the body? This is the standard. It is no longer what we eat, it's no longer what we digest, and it's no longer what we even absorb. When you take a supplement, when you eat a food, do the nutrients get into the billions of little cells in our body where they're needed to function, to do some job, to uplift, to support our life force? What Dr. Venkat Rao found were the phytonutrients that ward off disease, the antioxidants that protect cells from aging, protect them from wearing out, that the vitamins, that the minerals actually not only got into all the cells of the body at an accelerated rate, to use his words, at an accelerated rate, but they also got into the liver at huge amounts that caused the liver to make two ingredients that we'd like to take supplements for. They're so important, but you can't absorb them: superoxide dismutase and glutathione. These are unusual names, but these are huge molecular, what would I say, dump trucks. They take waste products out of the body. It is as important to eat good nutrients to bring them into the body. Then, as they break down, we have to get the waste products out of the body. It's a continual turnover. The more efficient that turnover, the better we are. So Greens Plus was shown not only to get an enormous amount of nutrients into the cells of the body, clinical proof from the University of Toronto, more than any other green drink they've ever looked at or supplement, but more importantly, the amount of glutathione and superoxide dismutase that were formed, especially glutathione, that was the main marker, were capable of taking a lot of waste products out of the body. The last one I'd like to mention about Greens Plus was the University of Eastern Michigan. The University of Eastern Michigan took some of its prime athletes between the age of 19 to 22, perhaps, in that age group. They had them sit on a stationary bicycle and exercise until total exhaustion. When they were given Greens Plus, they could work out much longer until total exhaustion than when they were not given Greens Plus, when they were given a placebo. Their diets were kept constant, their nutrients were kept constant, their supplements were kept constant. It was just the addition of Greens Plus. These are already prime, efficient athletes, but they were able to extend the rate at which they could work at their optimum longer. So then the researchers felt that the antioxidants and phytonutrients, the vitamins and minerals of Greens Plus were getting into the mitochondria. Those are the little cells that produce our energy. There are hundreds of them in every cell of the body. They're organelles. They make energy called ATP. You might have heard that name, adenosine triphosphate. What they found was Greens Plus did not just get into the cell, they got into the mitochondria. Very difficult to get something in the mitochondria. And where our energy is produced caused that mitochondria to produce more energy by protecting it from wear and tear, so it could produce more energy before it became exhausted, needed to be recharged with new nutrients. Greens Plus O is an interesting product. There are people today who have allergies to wheat, allergies to dairy, that want to ensure that what they're taking is completely allergen-free, and we put in the same category vegan. So Greens Plus O came out for those who are strict vegetarian or vegan, or those who would like the option of having that type of product with zero allergies in it. So the soy lecithin from the Greens Plus, we converted it, and we now use sunflower lecithin. We took the probiotics out, no dairy whatsoever. It is an efficacious product that works as well as Greens Plus, but zero allergens in it, and it's 75% organic. Proteins Plus is a unique protein powder. It's a whey isolate. It begins from dairy, a dairy that in which the cows have no synthetic hormones, no growth hormones added to it. Natural feed is given to them. And what happens with this protein is it's absorbed at such a quick rate. We like to put it in a protein smoothie, but there's one trick. When you put in your water or your milk or your rice milk or your hemp milk or your almond milk, unsweetened, whichever that medium is, and you put yogurt or you put non-dairy soy yogurt in it, and you put berries and flax seeds and sesame seeds and chia seeds for fiber, you want to add your protein and some fat. So you might use some olive oil, or you might use some hemp oil in there, or CLA oil. Some form of fat is necessary. But this protein powder can be broken down in the blender. So it's important to make your smoothie and the protein powder add in the last 10 seconds. So Proteins Plus is the highest efficacy of absorption rate, 99% absorbed, has all the amino acid profile, so that when we're training, when we're working out, or if we're using it for a meal replacement, we're sure to get huge quantities of protein that you might have to eat a chicken breast or might eat a large piece of salmon for, that you have to digest. And there's no guarantee after the age of 34 that our digestion is optimum. So Proteins Plus is literally pre-digested, it's easily absorbed, and ensures that you get an enormous amount of protein quickly into the cells and muscle tissues of your body. Genuine Health has brought a very unique protein powder. It's a fermented vegan protein powder. Vegan ensures that it's from non-animal sources. It's from beans and peas and seeds. It's natural, it's easy to digest, it has a complete profile, all the amino acids that you require in a protein to be absorbed to build muscle tissue, as we would with animal protein. But it's fermented. What does fermentation mean? When you eat kimchi, when you eat sauerkraut, when you eat tempeh, when you drink a coffee, when you drink a tea, when you drink a beer, when you drink dry red wine, all of these foods are fermented. And the fermentation, when it goes into our stomach, means breakdown process. Fermentation is a process in which we break down the chicken breast we ate, or the tempeh we ate, or the vegetable we ate, or the fruit we ate, or the berry. It breaks it down in fermentation. So when we eat fermented foods, it causes our stomach to ferment even more, become more of an efficient fermenter, or digester might be another word that you might associate with the stomach, to be a high efficient digester, so we get all the nutrients out. So when we ferment the vegan protein powder, it means that it's not only absorbed efficiently, quickly, but it causes any other food taken with it to ferment and be broken down and be digested, and its nutrients get into the system quickly and easily. I chose Genuine Health specifically because of Stuart Brown. He's considered, to be such an exceptional person in terms of, he started in the nutritional industry with health food stores in the Toronto area. He eventually became a manufacturer called GH, or Genuine Health, and I chose him because of his moral ethics, his honesty, his integrity, and his willingness to take Greens Plus, the product I had developed, and continue in university medical schools to have it tested for a number of reasons and to ensure that Greens Plus or Greens Plus Extra Energy or Greens Plus O, which is the vegan form of Greens Plus for those who want absolutely no animal products, 75% organic, that the whole line of Greens Plus products be of the highest quality, number one in the manufacturer, number two, have high quality research to back them. That's why I chose Stuart Brown, very progressive person with very progressive products. Well, I think National Nutrition is doing a great job. First of all, Darren, who started the present operation that's in Orillia, Ontario in 2010, I think owes a lot of his success because his parents had a health food store in Barrie, Ontario. So he learned that we need to serve the public. We need to make them healthier, brighter, wiser, give them better opportunity, what I call a survival advantage, not only to deal with today, but tomorrow. What he has done is taken the idea and has gone international with it. He's made it easy for you to go on your computer to access and look at a wide range of products. So the availability is enormous. The price is really great, and probably within 24 to 48 hours, whatever you've ordered sitting at your house. So I think National Nutrition has made the ability to purchase, receive, and use supplements that much easier. Obvious thing that strikes me is the happiness level, is the willingness to be here. You don't have a sense that people are here working, you have a sense that people are here contributing. They're reaching out to the public. So I've been very impressed from everyone I've met here, just how authentic they are, how happy they are, how, I would say, skilled they are at understanding the supplements and explaining them, and their willingness. For instance, there are naturopaths on staff, so if you really need a specific question answered, they're the professionals that can do that. So it's the quality of the people, the ability for them to reach out, and their happiness. I mean, what a lovely place to be. That was my general feeling from the moment I walked in here.